This is the AQOTER RGB camera light. Let's take it out of the box. In the box is a user's manual. It's in all different languages. They give you a nice little bag here to keep the light in, which is a nice touch. They give you a hot shoe mount. Fits a hot shoe on a camera. And then gives you a ball head over here where you can adjust the angle of that by loosening this thumb wheel right here. And the light mounts atop that. I'll get to that in a second. Charges via USB. This is USB to micro USB. And here is the light itself. The light has 80 LEDs in it, and the casing on it is metal. 1/4 inch mount there, and a 1/4 inch mount there. So you can have this landscape mode or portrait mode, depending on what works best for your setup. The back of the light has an OLED display right here that shows you what's going on with it. Not that, of course, you couldn't tell by the front, but it just gives you a visual representation. Also shows your battery life and the current brightness. And as you just saw here, this is a nice matte finish on the front, so it's not going to be overly glaring. Now, it's kind of hard to show you this and also for me to operate the light at the same time as my being in front of it. So you're going to have to kind of take my word for some of this. We'll go ahead and turn it on. Just hold the power button. Actually, before we do that, yeah, power, M for mode, S for switch, I guess, and plus and minus, and that'll run you through the options as well as your brightness. So go ahead and turn it on. It says welcome, and the light turns on in the last mode it was in. We're going to start off with the first mode, which is the scene mode. Now there's a little icon here. The manual goes into much more detail as far as what all of these are. I'm going to go over and hit the S button to select to go down to brightness. And I'm going to raise that up. And you should see a glow coming out from the light. And it changes. Just like that. So we'll hit select again. And I'll go to the next mode. And you can see that has its own set of colors. That has its own set of colors. And there's about 8 of them or so in here. All depends on what you're looking to do. This is sort of like a police flashing light mode, lightning, something like that. And we'll go back there. I'll turn the brightness back down to 10% where it was. And then we'll go to the next mode. So over here we have the cycle mode. And once again I can go and raise that brightness up. And if you notice, there is color coming out of the light. And it's going to just cycle through the colors as such. When you change this first option, it changes the speed. So we'll go to 5, and you can see how it changes color very quickly like that. So I'll run these back down. See, it's pretty easy to get the hang of as far as the buttons go. Select to move the little pointer up and down, and M for mode. In the third mode, you can adjust your own color for the light. So you have RGB. Currently they're all set at 10%, and if I flip this over, you get a sort of whitish light. That's what you get with RGB. It's not a pure white. It does have warm white and cool white LEDs, which we'll get to later on, but this is in the RGB mode. So that's what you get there, and this allows you to create your own color. So we're in the red at 10%, and if I raise that, you can see that the color becomes more and more red that's coming out of it as we go like that. And if I select to go to the green, we'll turn the green up, and you'll see how the color changes to sort of more like a yellow. And we could run that all the way up. and hit mode again, or I'm sorry, we'll go back to that. We'll hit select again to go to blue and turn that up. And once I get that to 100%, we're going to be back at as good of a white as RGB can provide. Now the screen on the light here appears to be flickering. That is not apparent in real life. In the next mode you have what's called the living light mode, and this has presets for warm white, cool white, all that kind of stuff, mixtures of both, and you can cycle through them like that. And in fact, I'll turn it around so you can see how the light color will change slightly as you run through that. It just varies the intensities of the warm white and cool white LEDs as you cycle through. And we'll hit mode one more time, and now you get to select your own color temperature. So this can go from 3000, and in steps of 100 no less, from 3000 all the way up to 6000. And just to show what that does is it goes from a warm white all the way over to a cool white. And we'll run that back down once again, and you see how that can change like that. So let me go ahead and get this set up a little bit differently. I'll just shoot it at the wall so you can see kind of what the wash is like on it, and we'll go from there. So we'll start back in the scene mode, and I'm going to go ahead and cycle through those. You can see how the color is changing. Here's the next scene mode. So that is varying as well. The next one, and this is the police light one, lightning. Could make for an interesting effect. And we're back, so we'll go to the next mode. And this one is the color cycle mode. I'm going to go ahead and change that here to the fastest. And this was the create your own mode. So right now I have all the LEDs in the RGB at 100%. So I'm going to lower the red down. And you can see how the hue of the light changes. So now we're green and blue completely. And I'll take away the green now. And as you see, the light is getting bluer and bluer. If you're familiar with RGB and how it works, this is really second nature to you. And one more, we'll take the blue away. And maybe we'll leave it there and go back to red and increase that. And then we get more of kind of a purple light as that increases. And in fact, I'll run that all the way up to 100%. So you can get some pretty cool colors just like that. And now this is the living lighting mode once again. So as you see, as I change that, there are different, warm whites and cool whites, and you can get just the right color balance that you're looking for as such as you cycle through that. And now we'll go to the last mode where you can adjust the color temperature. It's currently at 3000 K, and I'm going to run that all the way up to 6000. And you can see it gets much cooler, and we'll go all the way back down to warm. Now in general, I've been running this light at about 10% brightness, and as you can tell, it certainly is nice and bright without any problem, but I'm going to go ahead and raise that. Now my camera is going to automatically adjust, but you should get the idea that indeed it gets brighter and brighter still. And now we're at 100%. This light is extremely bright. In fact, I'll show you even better. We'll go from no light to 100%. That lights up pretty nicely. And I'm going to go ahead and change that down. Now again, my camera is automatically adjusting for this. But here we are at 20%, and yes, it's a lot dimmer than it was, but a lot of times for closer range photography, like if you had someone standing right here, this is more than plenty enough light. It really depends on how far away the subject is that you're actually going to be recording. So it throws out a lot of light, rechargeable via USB, and all around it's got a lot of nice features, and you can also adjust the RGB to give some nice special effects. And just to show you some of the colors here as that cycles through and does its thing. So you have the full RGB gamut there, anything you want, at whatever brightness you want. You know, so it's got a lot of functionality to it. Now let's talk battery life. Battery life is really going to be dependent upon how bright you need the light. If you're going to run this at full brightness, you might get about an hour and a half. If you're going to run it at a much lower brightness, you might get many more hours, up to 14 hours, as a matter of fact. So basically the rule of thumb is you don't want to run these lights at 100%. Really any video light, it's counterproductive because the camera is going to gain up. Now in certain circumstances, yes, you need it if it's pitch black out, but you can always adjust your camera's exposure to adjust for that, you know, within varying degrees back and forth. So all around, a very, very nice RGB camera light from AQOTER. If you'd like to purchase this item, I'll leave a link in the video description where you can find the item available for sale on Amazon. Thanks for watching. Make sure you click like, make sure you click subscribe, and take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.